Tonight's forecast is sponsored by Ashbrook Audiology, where relationships matter.
Happy Tuesday to everybody, and welcome back from the extended holiday break. If you had Friday and Monday off, I'm sure most of us probably enjoyed a few days off from work, including us. Of course, we were out Monday there at some of the memorials around the city. So if you haven't got a chance to check those out, it's a great opportunity to go back and look at some of our people here in our area who've committed to service, and of course, thank all of our veterans as well. It was a stormy start to the weekend. We'll talk more about that in just a second, though. You're probably wondering, Dustin, what the world is this on our forecast tonight? So this is what we like to call spaghetti models. So as you've heard us during the winter, much talk about computer models. The same generation. This is except for forecasting hurricanes. Now, if you kept with the national level over the last several days, you probably heard about Agatha. That was the Pacific, Eastern Pacific tropical storm that did turn to a Category 1, almost 2 storm that impacted parts of Mexico. It gave them a lot of rain over the weekend. And now what's happened, that same disturbance could possibly turn into Alex, which would be the first storm here of the Atlantic hurricane season. And of course, ironically, hurricane season begins tomorrow, Wednesday, the 1st of June. So we are just right on the money when we talk about this. So you kind of see there the spaghetti plots have that same system moving right up, going towards Florida. So if you have any folks right down that way, let them know, hey, heads up the potential for some flooding towards South Florida, outside of Tampa there, the Miami Keys area. You could see some heavy rain later this upcoming weekend. So just keep that in mind. If you have travel plans to make your way down there, do be aware that we could possibly see again some of that tropical rain moving in that region. Something I want to talk about real quick is, boy, do we remember all those thunderstorms that moved through our area? It was a lot of rain. Well, yeah, it gave everybody a bunch of rainfall. Everybody here, 3, 4, 5.5 inches of rain. Our friends down to North Carolina picking up some 6 inches rainfall totals as well. Kind of see the color code here, anything from white to orange is all over the map here. Again, here in the city, we picked up almost 2.5 inches, 3, 4 inches of rain for our friends in Patrick County. Where it happens, we have that mountain squeezes it up upon it and allows a lot more of that lift to occur, and then gives some of that up of a heavier rainfall. And so what happens with that, the mountain stabilizes the rain. Once that rain gets enough organized, it pretty much just stalls and gives us heavy rain. And what happens with that, what must come from west to east has to impact our region. So that's, we saw a lot of rain. And of course, it was a very active Friday morning with several tornado alerts. Thankfully, we had no tornadoes touch down in our area. However, though, parts of just southwest of Lynchburg, there they had an EF2 tornado. It was just 1 mile shy of an EF3 of winds of 133 miles per hour. So interesting stuff there. And again, you see Lynchburg seeing a couple of inches of rain right there too. So let's continue to talk about, take a break from the rain, talk about our area tonight. No rain expected this evening, and not for the next couple of days at least. We'll talk more about that severe threat moving up for the weekend, or for Thursday anyway. Hot and humid. It's going to remain muggy tonight. Temperatures are going to be in the mid-80s still. By 8 o'clock, it's going to be really warm out there as well. You see clear skies. We may see a few fair weather clouds moving in our area, but other than that, I'm not expecting a overcast night in the making, just more so of a clear night in the sky. So that's going to be some good news for us as you're heading out. Maybe if you got to a telescope, maybe some of our graduating seniors, if that was a gift of yours, if you're any future astronomers out there, go ahead and take advantage of the clear skies at night. We also want to see a lot of your photos with that too. Area-wide temperatures staying in the low 60s out there with those partly to mostly clear skies. A calm wind is expected. So not breezy, but it's not going to feel oppressively as cool as we saw. Remember, about a few weeks ago, it was pretty nice seeing those overnight lows in the 50s. Now we're finally approaching summer, as the meteorological start of summer does kick off for our Wednesday, the 1st of June. Highs in the low 80s. So our friends to the Patrick County and West, I'm very jealous of you all, because you're not going to be sweltering in the 90s up from 220 from Ridgeway down up towards Axton, up towards the city of Martinsville, Ridgeway, and our friends up towards Rocky Mount. are going to be sweltering and the heat. So just keep that in mind. A hazy, hot day is in the making. Humidity will also be out there. Basically, the amount of moisture that's available. Seeing our our dew point values, as I'm trying to say, in the mid 60s. So that humid feel is in the air, and why not be the first day of June as we kick off a hot beginning to the month of that. So as our sunrise is at 6:02 for everybody tomorrow morning. So you've probably been noticing over the last about week and a half or so, our sunrises are happening earlier and earlier every morning. So that'll be happening between now until about early August. So after we get to that, tomorrow, mixed sun and clouds, a high of 91 here in the city, hazy, hot, and oppressively just downright humid. Pollen levels are going to remain also on the medium side. So Luis has always been giving me a hard time about the pollen level being high. Luis, I promise you, we're going to see some relief thanks to the weather. We have a rainy setup moving in for Thursday. So if you have suffering pollen, right now we've got grasses, hickory, and oak. Also maple, birch, juniper being our main pollen, mostly to the tree pollen. Now that most of the trees are in full bloom at this point, now you'll have the grass pollen being in effect with this too. All right, let's talk about Thursday. I've been hinting at it for a little bit now. So what happened? What is going on right now? We have a setup that's going to be approaching parts of our area later this week. So they're seeing severe weather out here in the Plain States. A lot of that potential severe weather is moving in our area. Over the weekend, parts of Minnesota, Michigan, Iowa, even seeing some strong storms, even some parts of Wisconsin picking up on some heavy rain. There was not a tornado touchdown as of my knowledge, but that could have been changed. That could have changed between now and during the time of this recording. So other than that, to keep that in mind, high winds has been producing a lot of damaging concerns, of power outages as well. That same storm system is moving to our area. So right now, we're not included in a slight risk of severe weather. That is for our folks towards Virginia Beach, outside of the Delmarva, Maryland, DC area. So if you have folks out there, give them a heads up. Hey, there's a chance of severe weather. Right now, we have a marginal risk of severe weather. That is a level 1 out of 5 on the severe weather scale. This lighter green, we see this a lot. It's just a general amount of thunderstorms. So that doesn't really concern. So this is basically what you call a 0 on that scale down here. But it's basically meaning just a general chance of thunderstorms. The darker the greens, a marginal risk of severe weather, which we're kind of in with that. That severe weather threat could possibly move a little bit further south. We'll see what happens and see how far we get the activity moving in for Thursday. The main concern is gusty winds and possibly, we can't even rule out another chance of an isolated tornado like we saw over the week. The start of the Memorial Day on Fridays, you remember we had, we weren't forecasting a chance of tornadoes to touch down in our area. Thankfully, we didn't, but there was a possibility that we could have seen, and we did see a couple of tornado warned storms. Thankfully, we didn't see any. And if you're watching closely around our regional newscast, you probably saw them talk about Surrey County, North Carolina, which is just about, I'm trying to get this pointer, somewhere right here in the border, right around the Reedsville, and then again, Yadkin County, right around Wentworth area too. So that we did see a tornado touchdown. That was an EF1 tornado report storm. And if you're watching closely on the radar, that same storm system moved right through our area. Thankfully, that tornado did not produce any severe weather in our area, or a tornado touchdown, at least anyway. We had several reports of wind damage and even some power outages being reported too. So it was a very active start to the holiday weekend. We have thankfully calmed down a little bit. We're going to remain hot for the next couple of days. Again, Thursday's outlook right now, we got to pay attention to this storm moving through our region. As you probably are much aware, the severe weather threat parts of the Midwest. And then again, for our Wednesday, we'll be pushing into Ohio River Valley into the deep south. And then again, by Thursday, the same storm will be moving in our direction. So it is a busy week moving up, and it does appear that the warm weather will be continuing to stick around till Thursday. We have a cool down coming up for the weekend. So if you're planning to hit the lake, get your SPF of 30 or 35 or higher, as you will not result yourself into a sunburn. Have a hat, sunglasses. If you're like me, you're gonna burn pretty easy. You probably have noticed my skin's pretty pale looking, and that's why I don't get out in the sun much, because if I'm out there within 10 minutes, I'm guaranteed to get a sunburn. So other than that, if you're like me and you can't stay outside long enough, put your hat on and go find some shade and have a nice bottle of water hanging out with you, or go to your backyard pool. If you have a pool, head out there and enjoy it. All right, enough of my time here with us. We have a lot more BTW21 news. We're going to take a quick break and thank some of our sponsors who makes this newscast possible. Take care, everybody. I'll see you Wednesday.
Your BTW21 weather forecast is sponsored by Zentmeyer Chiropractic.